Ramble.
Ooh, I'm hungry. Well, say goodbye, hunger, and HelloFresh. You know HelloFresh, it is America's #1 meal kit. It lets you skip all those trips to the grocery store, and it makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. HelloFresh offers convenient, no-contact delivery to your doorstep, so you can cook for the fam. The recipes are easy to follow. Even an idiot like me can do it, so really, that means you should be able to as well. It's not just delicious, it's sustainable. It's the first global carbon-neutral meal kit company. That's huge. And by skipping the grocery store and using HelloFresh, you're reducing your food waste by at least 25%. And it's flexible to your lifestyle. Look, I get it. You're an on-the-go dude or dudette, you know? You can't have no meal plan holding you down. The other day, I made crunchy curry chickpea bowls, and I did not tell Maggie that I was following a recipe, and she was very impressed and called me a liar, and she was right. And then she found the HelloFresh wrapper, and I was in trouble. But it was yummy. Right now, you can go to HelloFresh.com/TryPod90 and use code TryPod90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. Wow. That's $90 off and free shipping at HelloFresh.com/TryPod90. Shout out to HelloFresh, Best Fiends, Talkspace, and Native for sponsoring today's episode. Hello world and welcome to a very special episode of the TryPod. You've got Zach, you've got Keith, you've got Eugene, you got Miles, and we've got a new president.
President-elect Joe Biden. Oh, here it comes. It's big. It was a big weekend, everybody. I'm sure you know that.
Before we dive in, so we're calling this a special episode because this is going to be different than anything you've ever listened. So we actually recorded this last week, but when the election was still in question. So you're going to get that in a little bit. First, you're going to get about 10-15 minutes of us rapid reaction now that the election has been decided. And then after advice that will go for Miles, we talk about eggs for 30 minutes.
Well, don't spoil the
Don't
advice.
spoil.
No one likes
spoils.
I get people want to know about eggs, and eggs are coming by the dozen, baby.
And if you're like, whoa, they can't possibly talk about that for 30 minutes, just you fucking
I have
wait.
no idea.
But first, guys, this was what a weekend, a historic weekend, an incredible weekend. Rapid reactions, how you feeling?
You know, I saw a tweet that described it best. It was like, now America can celebrate getting back to Get Out levels racism. That was Jabuki, and yeah, I think it's one of those things where there's a lot of work to be done, but I think that everyone should be allowed to have the permission to relax at least for a day and just celebrate, you know, at the very least, the win of getting that fascist orange motherfucker out of the office. So,
Go off,
you know,
Eugene.
it was almost
Drag
like
him.
Additionally, the pandemic, which is still going strong, everyone sort of had this massive release that was pent up since they missed Pride and July 4th and Halloween and birthdays and weddings. It was this moment where everyone just sort of stood up and screamed and celebrated. And it felt like it was just like America just came all at once.
Yeah. Well, not everybody, but a lot of us.
Oh, no, just
about half.
A little more than
just
half.
over
More than
half. Yes.
little more than half. Yeah.
Significantly more than half.
Yeah.
So much more that it cannot be disputed in court. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was a historic moment, though. I mean, it is not often. It is extremely rare that an incumbent loses the election. It is extremely rare for a sitting president to not win the popular vote. And, you know, for people to show up and to stand up to the rise of fascism, to stand up for democracy in the way that they did, I absolutely agree. For me, it was just a moment of finally feeling like I could exhale and breathe in again for a second before the real work begins. But it was like, fuck, man, yeah, we worked hard for this. And for one beautiful weekend day, life was good.
Yeah, the city felt alive, and like the country kind of felt alive. Like people are videos of New York. People are just out in the streets freaking out. We walked like 15 minutes to Sunset Junction, and it was just people in the streets, like dancing, and there's music. People were getting fucked up. It was crazy.
Let me tell you, North Hollywood was quiet, but we had a great time in my house. You know, I was watching all the West Hollywood and all the other places, even like my old block in Los Feliz, like people were going for it. We opened our door here hoping for that same response. Not the same. You know, it was a very chill Saturday, but we danced. Becky and I were like dancing in the kitchen. We were like making food and listening to the speeches in the evening. It was just like a very, I don't know, I feel like the American flag and patriotic things had this weird taint to them for the past 4 years because other people were using them in a way of hate, and it was weird. And it was like listening to, there's that one beautiful rendition of America the Beautiful that they play in like movies that is like just very slow and uplifting, and I think it's on one of the Joe Biden ads that came out after he was announced a winner. And like that song is such a beautiful song, and our country can be such a beautiful place. And it was nice to feel like, those songs and that flag stood for something good because the people came out and said, this is our country. This is what we vote for. This is what we believe in. And I felt really happy about all those things again, which was a good feeling.
So funny you say that. Yeah, this Saturday was the first time I feel like in over 4 years where I saw an American flag and I was like, fuck yeah. I didn't go like, oh.
Yeah, I know. And I think that mostly the flag is always, something that stands for something good, but it just, other people use it for something bad sometimes. I think that happens with a lot of things, unfortunately.
It's all context. And when you see the American flag waving next to a Black Lives Matter flag and a Pride flag,
Yeah.
Right.
That's nice. Yeah.
That's America, baby. That's what I like to see.
One thing that I feel like I was really excited about, for a lot of history was made. First of all, this is the first time the vice president has ever spoken during a winning speech from a president.
What other first about that vice president? Go off, King.
Thanks, Queen. It was, also first woman vice president, first woman in the White House like that, first woman of color in an office like that. And I think like something that was exciting to me, obviously, like, right. Like there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of track records that I don't love about them both. But I think one thing I'm really excited about is I truly believe that both of them can be bullied into doing what like liberals want them to do. And I think
more
that's
progressive than their current stance, basically.
Totally. Like I don't have any confidence that like a Republican president can be bullied to do anything. But I really believe in the power that like liberals have to be bullied into doing something that's really progressive.
My favorite tweet on Saturday, and God, it was just a day. I feel like that's the most fun I've had on social media ever. Like every tweet, I was like, this is everything was funny. Everyone was top form. Like everyone's beautiful brains were just flourishing. But one of my favorites in a sea of favorites was someone watching the speeches and tearing up going, oh, I can't wait to critique Joe Biden mercilessly for the next 4 years. So you were in North Hollywood, but Eugene and I were in West Hollywood, and so we got to experience some of the celebrating and dancing in the street. Where were you guys when you found out that Joe Biden was officially President-elect of the United States?
I was in my bed drinking coffee, as I'm known to do, and I had just finished episode 2 of season 2 of The Mandalorian. So I was already riding a high. I was already feeling good about the day.
You had that Baby Yoda juice flowing through your veins.
It was a good Baby Yoda episode for sure. The first one is a little bit more about story. This one is much more about Baby Yoda and his crazy antics. I don't know. It was really great. We were like, we immediately cross-verified as many places as we could before we fully celebrated, but I was just in bed. It was a great way to start the morning.
It was weird because we knew that based on the numbers, one could call many of these states that would have pushed Biden over 270. But I think, doing the right thing is to wait until it's completely verified, which was correct. But as I said, that national release moment was certainly from being edged very heavily from Pennsylvania to Georgia to Nevada to Arizona to, it was a wonderful moment. I think the first thing I did was I called up my sisters, I really like to think of, I was talking to my sisters are both, Asian women, and I have a couple of friends who were working very heavily with actually the campaigns in Arizona and in Pennsylvania. So them also being women of color in those states, and especially during this time, was really amazing to get their pure reaction in that moment, which was just screaming, just full on. Like, the joy was infectious, and I think for people to be able to receive and to let go of that joy after the year we had was just like, that was the most beautiful thing.
I love that. Mm-hmm. So Maggie and I got to drive around West Hollywood. First, of course, woke up, jumped out of bed, ripped the covers off. It was the first day that I had slept in over a week because I was up late, like waiting for it every night. It didn't happen. So I woke up to my phone texting like crazy. I had slept in that day. But we jumped out of bed. I called my grandmother. And then we just drove around West Hollywood for 2.5 hours. And we drove to Beverly Hills and then back to WeHo. And every car, we were just honking our horns. And everyone was just like, yeah! Roll the windows down, blasting music. People were dancing in the streets. And it took a couple hours for Hollywood to wake up and get going. But it was funny. There were, cops getting out ready for whatever was going to happen. Nothing fucking happened. And a cop U-turned behind me and was following me. And we were both like, oh no, what do we do? And we paused and looked at each other. And then I went back on the horn. And it was just like, every block, everyone just had total glee and joy. And then Eugene and I actually met up later in the day. We went to, Santa Monica and Robertson. Which is one of
the gay neighborhood.
Yes, like the epicenter of gay in Los Angeles. And I kept my distance because I am still concerned about, my immunosuppression. But people were just dancing in the street. They had totally blocked the street, but then created this little pathway for cars to come through one at a time while everyone danced around them. And it was just like, man, it was cool. It made me believe in people, in democracy, in love, in hope. I felt so good. It made me so happy. My soul needed it. I think all of us, our souls needed it.
Mm-hmm. And, watching all the videos online, it did look like still a majority of people were wearing masks, were generally being cautious. Mm-hmm. I think that is one thing that I am always happy when I see any of the Black Lives Matter protests that happened early in the summer or these celebrations now, is that there is still you can be responsible and, fight for justice or celebrate justice that happens. Like,
where we were, it was 100% mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Trump on his election night had his chief of staff have COVID, and then they hid it from the actual staffers, and now again, there's another supercell in the middle of the White House. It just goes to show that a lot of these people who have been so anti-mask, I don't know how else to say, because I really don't believe in karma. I believe in science, and I think science is just telling
science don't care if you believe in it or not,
baby. It doesn't believe in anything. You
don't care
just
what
gotta
you think.
Put that mask on. Whether you're celebrating or not, just wear a mask, especially with the upcoming months.
Yeah, it's about to be flu season. We're going to have flu. We're going to have colds. We're going to have COVID. We're going to have all those things all at the same time. It's going to be dangerous. Everybody be careful.
I do have, I would say, one regret from the day, and that is that there was so much joy and excitement that I don't think I fully took the time to process how wonderful the Four Seasons landscaping press conference was.
Oh my God, what a gift. What a gift.
The most miraculous, wonderful, stupidly poetic ending to this bullshit saga that I could possibly imagine. If the people out there don't know what it is, can you guys explain?
Yes. So Trump's team, to essentially give the first speech after the race was called, they booked something called Four Seasons Total Landscaping. Four Seasons Hotel, DC had to issue a tweet saying, "This is not us. Don't come to us." And this landscaping business is between a crematorium and a adult store.
A dildo shop.
A dildo shop. And they had to set up the conference in the parking lot, and guess who had to speak? Rudy Giuliani himself. Mm-hmm. Fuck that guy.
It's 12:30 in the afternoon. You're taking your lunch break and you know you should go back to work, but ooh, you're naughty. You're so naughty. And maybe, just maybe, part of you says, one more game. Today, we're playing Best Fiends. Best Fiends, guys, you know, you've heard us talk about it. It's a game, and it's a game that is going to titillate you to your core. You got to play a game, collect your little buddies, and it helps you de-stress between whatever it is you're doing in your busy life. Take a couple minutes out of your day to be your own best fiend by playing Best Fiends. I've actually been going back and forth with Miles. We got a little bit of a rivalry going, but joke's on him because I have collected all of my friends in real life. I've got Edward, I've got Eugene, and I'm looking for a Keith. Look, Best Fiends is the can't put it down mobile puzzle game that is free to download. You got over 100 million downloads. This 5-star rated puzzle game, look, it's a must play. Download Best Fiends free today on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friend without the R, Best Fiends. A little correction to your story. It was not in response to networks calling it. They actually preempted it. It was supposed to be a bombshell news conference announcing indisputable proof of voter fraud. Of course, there was nothing. And during the conference is when they announced that they had called it for Biden. So Rudy Giuliani is speaking live, and a reporter goes, Mr. Giuliani, they've called it. And he goes, oh, really? Who called it? And what network called it? And they just respond, all of them. All of them. It is the most unbelievable. Like, I do not think that we have given this enough appreciation, because holy shit.
I just really want Ron Howard to give us the full Arrested Development VO treatment. And like, they had booked the Four Seasons. Unfortunately, they didn't realize they booked the Four Seasons landscaping. And we're stuck between a dildo shop and a crematorium for their announcement. Even so, they went forward with it. Like, it just needs that, like, it's so well written. It's beautiful.
That's not science. That's karma.
That's karma.
Yeah, there it is. Well, it's also worth noting that we are in the midst of an attempted coup. It is the world's stupidest and worst fulfilled coup. Like, they're fucking it up. But regardless, the president is attempting to seize control of the government by denying the results of an election. It is scary and dangerous shit that has implications for our future. So even though this is a moment of celebration and what the Trump administration is doing is mind-bogglingly numbing, incredibly stupid and transparent, and is not going to work, he's still trying to do it. And that is something that makes my democracy heart weep. So I just want to point that out and get that out there, because that's a little bit new since we recorded the last episode.
Right. Listen, y'all just got to keep remembering the names of all of these conservative Congress people, senators, representatives who are not denouncing Trump outright right now. Like, these tactics, some people are doubling down, and a lot of people are saying, well, if we're going to jump to a few days before the race was called, we're going to have a little bit of a tonal shift. We were all very much in our feelings. Maybe should tee it up with, we talk about this victory, but we have to point out that 91% of black women in this country voted for Biden. Overwhelming amounts of the indigenous population voted for Biden. This came down to many women of color, and this came down to their grassroots efforts. And I think that those urban centers like Atlanta and Detroit and Philadelphia, what we're talking about specifically is black women, black voters, and we owe them so much more than the sort of cognizance of that during election seasons. And I think a lot of this is something that has to be carried forward in terms of the everyday manner in which we speak about marginalized communities and how we can make sure that systematically, so many of these states in the South we call red states that are flipping, but maybe they're already blue, and that suppression is just so ever present that they've stayed red for sinister reasons. And I think that this is just something that we are luckily seeing that. On top of that, the youth vote came out really strong towards the left. So a lot of our listeners, a lot of Gen Zers, a lot of those TikTokers instilled a lot of faith in those kiddos out there who are kind of seeing through the bullshit. So yeah, I think that's a really good thing to remember every time we contextualize these results, is to remind ourselves who really is putting their lives on the line for democracy.
So what you're going to hear now is us from last Thursday. This is when the election seemed like it was trending in the right direction, but there was some uncertainty. And certainly us grappling with the reality that while this, now that the numbers are settling, was something of a resounding victory for Joe Biden, there is still, Joe Biden got the most votes of any candidate in history. The second most votes of any candidate in history was Donald Trump in this election. So we still are a deeply divided country, and that is something that we are going to have to deal with. So enjoy us getting into all those feelings, and then stick around at the end for the goofiest, most wonderful conversation that you'll ever hear. Something that, you know what? You don't know that you deserve it, but you do.
Eugene, guess who's introducing the podcast?
Not me.
Yes, sir.
Go off, King.
Go off, King. We do stand a Li Yang.
Hey guys, welcome to the TryPod. Today, what is today? What is this week? What is this year? What is life? Do you ever look in the mirror and just think, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
I'm Eugene. This is Zach.
Hello.
And Keith.
Good morning.
Ned is out, and Miles is also here.
Howdy.
And we are ready to talk about everything under the sun,
Thank
under
you
the
for joining
moon, above this, the God's green earth. And I'm excited. I'm excited to chat with you today about where the soul of this nation is going, and if it's already been tarnished to begin with.
Whoa.
So,
Wow, okay,
yeah.
we're doing it.
This is
Yeah.
Try Guys Public Radio. And again, we rely on your contributions to make this great content and the ads that we intersperse through. It is a week. So here's what's going on, listeners. We're recording this on November 5th, where we're still in this purgatory of confusion. But you're listening to this on November 11th, where hopefully it's not a purgatory of confusion, but I could fully believe that it is.
I got a relevant topic.
Yeah.
Pretty timeless.
Go off, King.
Go off, King.
I've spent my whole life feeling bad about talking about race because white people always tell me that's reverse racist, or you shouldn't be bringing about race, or that's the race card. Listen, white people don't talk about race enough. Y'all got to start talking to your friends and your families. You can't keep making people of color do it for you. Like every day of my life, every day at work, every day I've breathed, I've only talked about race relations. I've had to talk about race relations. I do it in my family.
Yeah.
Who is talking to these people in these families? No one. You got to get engaged because, people of color are fucking tired, man. We keep seeing this and we're just tired. We're tired. And then you see, what else pisses me off?
Do it.
People ragging on the South every election.
Go
Listen,
off.
I'm glad
It's
that
not
you
the
grew
same,
up in
yeah.
a nice little coastal blue state, and then you're just like, great, who gets whatever, like you want to sew off Florida or Texas or whatever. Yeah, that's where all the civil rights movement started. That's where that shit gets done because people are fighting the worst situations.
Well, and it goes back to what Keith said. The reason that those states are trapped is because of gerrymandering. There are people who are fighting so hard down there, and we can't just turn our backs on them. They're the people that are fighting the hardest and are suffering the hardest.
And also, you think about there's so many examples of how voter suppression works, like how a lot of states have people with previous criminal records in various degrees, or they're felony or not, can't vote, right? So if you are disproportionately arresting black males in some place, they get a conviction for something, or you're pressing them harder on drug charges than you would a white person, they will lose their right to vote forever in that state. So you can basically go through and start eliminating potential voters, and then they'll never be able to create change to create a better life for them. So it really does come down, unfortunately, the way that the districts are run right now is that the white people have to be the ones helping change for those people, because there's been so much work to make it those people don't have a voice. So luckily California just passed through a measure that allows people who previously were in prison to vote.
It's just sad that we've had to get to this point to have even Twitter Facebook's failing
Facebook.
crazily to get these types of fucking misinformation
Even
sites
YouTube.
down. And even YouTube.
I'm calling them out.
Yeah,
That Steven
YouTube,
Crowder shit,
please.
all that, they're literally just spouting
nightmare.
misinformation.
Yeah.
like for hours to huge audiences.
Just lies.
Who is this benefiting? It's no longer free speech. It's literally like, hey, if you are basically a bruised ego white dude sitting around with feeling powerless, you know how you can feel power? Go pick up a weapon.
We I don't think have talked much on this podcast about the dangerous power of radicalization on YouTube and Facebook, and I feel conflicted because we as YouTubers are helping build up a platform that is doing so much damage. One of Maggie's good friends, her mom, sent us what was it was QAnon rhetoric, because she has slowly over the course of the pandemic found herself more and more on YouTube, and she is getting radicalized in a way that she does not realize or understand. Her religion is being twisted, and the fear that she has. So she sent us a warning, something about the Pope. It's all garbage. It's all bullshit. I don't know why these people think that some random asshole on YouTube, like, look, frankly, don't listen to us either. Like find respected organizations. Like, where are you getting your facts from?
Yeah, remember Zach didn't know anything about olive oil. You gotta go to the source.
I stand by my olive oil.
You gotta go to the certifiable news source.
The olive oil industry's gonna come at us again.
Dear Zach Kornfeld.
You know, you haven't heard a single olive oil sponsor on this podcast, right? Well, we've had some deals get broken. That's right. We had some olive oils coming through, and
look, maybe if it didn't go right,
we even lost our canola oil deal.
Yeah, big canola came in.
Avocado oil for life, baby.
It's crazy because I was thinking about this too. Like, I think so obviously, so many people who voted for Trump, it's just because the news that they're getting is telling them something wrong.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you could do about that. It's not like, because liberalism, the idea of liberalism is like education. That's a good thing. We should go be educated. We should check our facts, etc. And conservatism, as it is now today in America, is the idea that's just like, no, fuck the educated elite liberal people.
Yep.
Like, you don't need to check your facts. We'll tell you what it is, how it is. And it's just how do you fix that? It's so broken.
Look, people are entitled to their own opinions. I do not believe that you are entitled to your own reality. And right now, the country is living in different spheres, and it is the news that they engage with, which is frankly at this point just propaganda. It is our social media, which is inherently and deeply broken. And then, of course, there is the evergreen undercurrent and underbelly of rampant racism that never went away.
No.
But I try to believe that that is not the full piece of the pie, and that with proper information and education that is so sorely lacking, we can heal that wound, but that is not an easy thing to do by any stretch. So you saw results from people who were voting, and like, what did they think about the coronavirus, right? 230,000 Americans dead. And it was something like 86% of people who voted Democrat said it is being handled poorly. 74%, again, I'm getting these numbers a little wrong, of Republicans said, I think it's being handled pretty good. Couldn't have done anything else. It's not even our fault.
He handled it as best he could. I'm like,
no, he didn't.
Or if he did, that's a really good reason why he shouldn't be the president.
Sure,
if the best he could do is 230,000 people dead, well, that's not very good.
But
so I'd say, like, that's his best, then that's not good, so we give someone else a shot.
But that is a schism not just of belief, but that is a schism of an interpretation of reality, and what I believe is a communication of reality. And that feels to me the core of the issues that plague us right now.
Yeah. You know, here's what I'm gonna lay down for you.
Lay it.
You got little Bob, right? Bob fucking doesn't like the queers. He doesn't like black people. Right. He doesn't like that you have Gore up there talking about how the world is getting hotter. I get it. That's your fucking opinion, whatever. Go to fucking hell. But little Bob, in the most unprecedented year in a global pandemic where you are staring at rising death tolls, can't keep a piece of fabric on his fucking face because he feels like in that moment, that is his hill to die on.
Yep.
That is the hill he is dying on, which is, I'm going to go protest this mild inconvenience, let alone not connecting it to how that actually connects to every other thing I just mentioned,
right?
In some way, the coronavirus.
Like, you can't tell me what is right or wrong.
You can't tell me. You can't tell me. There is no no changing my mind, even as we went into lockdown this entire year. That is just like, it was the most emblematic thing of whatever the parties are currently. You see that happening, majority, as Zach said, from one party. Like, I'm not a single issue voter. A lot of people are, but shit. If it's any issue should have been single issue, that's the one that touched everyone in a way that was like remarkably unprecedented.
Yeah.
And fucking Bob still doesn't want to put a little piece of fabric across half his face.
The best thing was I watched John Oliver, and he had a really good joke that was just, how do you think Trump handled the pandemic? It's like, well, he got it. So probably not very well. He is the most guarded, protected man in America, supposedly, and he got it. He got it. That's crazy.
But the crazy thing is when does little Bob with his misinformation become a danger to society?
Yeah.
Right.
Because in X thousands of years, when Miami and Venice are underwater, and you have Trump 20.0 telling everyone like, no, it's fine. Keep, chugging whatever.
I don't think we'll make it X thousands.
I don't think we will, but do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get you. I know.
There's a literal meteor coming at the Earth.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, I don't really want to wear this piece of fabric that might protect me from it.
With everything going on in the world, there is a lot to be anxious about. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, I am right there with you. I think most people are. But Talkspace is here to help. They are on a mission to make therapy affordable and accessible for all people because we all need extra support to feel our best. And Talkspace makes it so easy. They have thousands of licensed therapists trained in over 40 specialties, including anxiety, depression, relationships, and more. No matter what, Talkspace will find you the perfect therapist for your goals. I've been looking for a therapist for a while now, and it's really hard and overwhelming to find the right person. Going on Talkspace, it made it so easy to find someone that was right for me, and it's been really nice to have someone to talk to so I don't have to unload all of it here on this podcast. The bottom line, we all need someone to talk to. Talkspace wants to give us the support we deserve at a price we can all afford. And as a listener of this podcast, you get $100 off your first month on Talkspace. To match with your perfect therapist, go to Talkspace.com or download the app. Make sure to use the code TRYGUYS, one word, to get $100 off your first month and show support for this show. That's TRYGUYS at Talkspace.com. Well, yeah. We're seeing the crescendo right now of the myth and the dream of what America could be and the reality of what it always has been, right? So the dream of America, the American story, is that if you have agency and hard work, you can rise to the top. And it's a place where the voice of the plurality rings true and everyone's voice is equal and you all have a shot. But that's never been true. It never was true. Not from the beginning of America. We talked about the beginning of the Electoral College. Sorry to keep bringing it back there, but it was that people didn't believe that people could be intelligent enough or have enough information to vote for themselves. So a group of white men were going to make the decision for everyone else. Women, black people, this is new that they can vote. And then still today, we have the minority voice overwhelming the majority voice. This has never been a true democracy. And I think we have to answer the question, will it ever actually become one?
It's tough because politics are so inundated with the rich getting richer and the more powerful being more powerful that it even comes down to like the public education system is one of the biggest things that needs reform in the country.
Yep.
Because without a good education system that actually teaches the true understanding of the country, because right now it's like a state by state thing, right? So and even a county by county thing in some states that they can choose what is required for education in elementary, middle, and high school. Well, that's already putting every state at a different fairness level of education. And I know people are like, well, I don't want the government deciding what I learn. I agree that different governments shouldn't all decide. I think we should all figure out how do we make this education system actually make sure everyone is equally educated to the biggest possibility possible. Because you put someone like DeVos in charge who hates the public education system, only wants it to be private. And once it's private, it really becomes rich can be smart, poor will be dumb, which is already how it is, even in the American public system.
And that just is a tool to control.
Exactly. It keeps people uneducated, uninformed, which makes them more manipulatable by a QAnon type conspiracy, by the lies of propaganda type advertising saying, Biden's going to raise your taxes. He's not. If you just read the plan, he's not. That's not what it is. But if you just say it on a channel that you trust, then you'll just trust that because you don't have independent critical thinking because you're not taught independent critical thinking. And if you're not taught that, you can't have it. And then you just, you don't have it. And it's unfair.
Oftentimes, like, I also grew up in the South, right? And I grew up in a total, like, liberal paradise. Went to a private Quaker school my dad taught at. Everyone there, for the most part, was, like, you know, very liberal. And
You're wearing a shirt that says "We're all gay."
Aunt Libby. Somebody sent me this. Somebody made this for my stream.
What does that even mean?
So people who watch my Twitch stream are usually gay, but one of them is named Libby, and she's not gay. And they sent me this shirt. Okay. So, anyway, so I think a lot of people don't understand, like, oh, like, how could people think this? Like, how could people possibly vote for Trump and stuff like that? And I think growing up in the South, like, even in a very liberal thing, especially if you're a white kid, you have to actively try not to be swallowed by those opinions. And that media is presented to you. You know those kids. They're in the friend group. They might be your neighbors, whatever. And they say some shit, and you're like, oh, I wonder. And it's as small as, like, using the word ghetto. Like, it's stuff like that. And it is infectious. And I think that, like, it happens when you're really young. And I remember being a teenager and, like, a white teenager and being on the internet and being like, yeah, like, I wonder what that's about. And you start to feel these feelings. And I grew up in a super fucking liberal environment. And then, you know, obviously I got carried and now I'm a flaming lib. But, like, but I think that it's, you know, like, it's not as hard as people think for teenagers to get down that rabbit hole. And this
super easy.
It's super easy. And this is way before I was on, like, a ton of social media. So I think that, like, you know, when you're talking to people, I think also, like, to Eugene's point before of, like, you know, the white kids being like, oh, this has to be about me and that struggle. I think a lot of white kids see that people of color have an identity, or at least perceive them to have an identity. And they're like, well, but I don't have an identity. Well, maybe I'm powerful. And they want to kind of seize that thing. And I think if you can, you know, talk to people teenagers who feel like they're conservative, they don't fucking know because they're teenagers, and give them a place to belong and make them feel like there's those things. And again, this is a kumbaya thought. And that's my thing.
How come you don't suck, Keith?
Me? I don't know. Well, my parents were not from the South. So my parents are from New Jersey and New York, and we grew up in a southern town. And I sometimes I always feel bad leaving Carthage, because when I was there, my friend circle, I think I helped push them to think more progressively and critically. And then when I left, some of the people that I was close friends with became more and more brainwashed by someone else. Not to say I was brainwashing them, but I think I was influencing them to think and, like, not say, I was like, don't say shit like that when they said stuff that was bad, you know? And when you don't have someone telling you that, and you're only surrounded by people who do say mean things, you're just going to say mean things and feel like it's okay. So I do think there is there's a dichotomy, right? Like, you say, like, okay, people who are in the South, get out, go experience the world. But then those people who have open minds leave the place with closed minds. So there's no one then influencing that place with closed minds, right? So it's tough when a community like Carthage, Tennessee, that I came from, most of those people, their parents, grandparents, great-grandparents all live there, have always lived there, will never move. They say no reason to change. Everyone who lives there has always lived there. Any kind of idea that comes in probably also leaves because they can't root themselves in there, like the Habersburgers, who could, because we were, like, my parents were not very liberal there. They were at most moderates, and they were seen as, like, liberal Yankees only because they came from a northern state. And they even had moved from Pennsylvania, not a liberal state, but they came from there, and they were like, when they called us Yankees growing up, and I was like, are we Yankees? They're like, not really, but they just say that. Don't worry about it. And I, like, was around people who said, you know, crazy things. And then I had teachers, though, that I could tell, and I think back to now, I'm like, oh, these teachers were trying their darndest to not let people in their classrooms say things that were like damaging and bad, and, like, trying to be like, no, you shouldn't say things like that. And these are people too, and you shouldn't say that about them. And, like, they were trying to make their incremental change. And I think there's still teachers there trying to do that, but it's hard when those kids go home and their parents say, no, don't listen to them. Right. Like, I had a lesbian teacher who was not openly out lesbian. I know that now from inferences of their lifestyle, but they were always, like, the person trying to, like, make sure that no one in the like class said, "Hey, you're gay" for that. It's like, don't do that. That's offensive. It doesn't mean stupid. It's just a lifestyle choice, like a lifestyle that people have. And then they go home and their dad is saying, "Don't sit like that. That's gay." Then of course that makes no change. If you're in your own little bubble, whether it's a liberal bubble or a conservative bubble, you're in a bubble where everyone agrees with you. So it's hard to have opposing views. So I don't know. It's always something I think about. Sometimes I think about moving back to Carthage and trying to become the mayor.
Listen, I think about buying this property in Texas all the time so I can help. I mean, Texas almost turned blue. It was purple. It's a purple state. It's a swing state.
Tennessee used to be blue.
Yeah, I mean, this happens. Like demographics shift, but what we do know is that even though people, I guess a lot of times move to more heavily populated urban areas, like these. There's a really famous like swatch. It's called the Black Belt in the Deep South that is always swinging blue since like the early 70s. And that's like the heavily populated Black population. And a lot of these areas, interesting enough, like you see Georgia, you see the Midwest, like Michigan, you see Detroit, and it's not just Black voters, it's Native voters, it's Latino voters. These are the ones that in the end, in these states where liberal people are like, oh, fuck these states. Like they're the ones who save the elections for essentially swinging more towards the left because it comes down to their votes because all these other rural red hot spots, they're just staunch in their ways. Yeah. And, certainly not to discredit any of the very, fighting for progress, like white citizens of this country. Y'all are fucking doing it. That almost half, the just over half youth white vote is still very important for progressive values. I just think that just with the example I just named, like we got to make sure the onus is not always then on people of color, and it just always ends up being like that. And I think that that's probably where a lot of my frustrations came from, which is feeling that the system in place in itself is also even trying to then like further sort of disenfranchise people who are the only ones who can save it. So it's just this weird like cyclical. What's the snake eating its own tail or
Ouroboros?
Ouroboros. Yeah, it just kind of like feels like that sometimes. So you get stuck in these moments of despair. But I do think as someone who is of color and queer from the South, I see the light. I see that, as I said, Gen Z is far more progressive overall. And the one thing I do think, because this shouldn't always be a like, I'm right, you're wrong, shut up situation. But honestly, that phrase I came up with as a joke in Ranking was born from this time. It was literally me joking like, what's the most like era appropriate thing I could say? Yeah. But in the end, you have people who have never, it's so crazy that the right paints the left as coastal elites or as elites, because the left is this hugely diverse group that has to constantly contend with their own discriminatory, like the ways in which we were raised. If you're fucking pissed because you're going to yell the word socialist or communist, go fucking open Google and read a little bit. Listen. If you can be listening to a podcast, you can go find credited sources to actually know what those words mean. You are not necessarily someone who actually was born in one of those countries who were under communism, and you need to fucking get your facts straight.
First of all, Biden, he is certainly not a socialist.
Not at all, guys. Like,
I'm gonna tell you,
are you crazy?
Which I got an argument with a family member where I'm like, maybe Bernie should have just run because they still called Biden a socialist and people bought it. So like, you might as well run.
I wish we had actually had a democratic socialist if that was going to be the rhetoric.
And that's the other important thing. There's a difference, for the love of God, there's a difference between socialism, and democratic socialism.
Democratic
it's
socialism.
A different belief. Just fucking look it up, and don't be scared by words. You're just, like, that is the
and
biggest
go to an
baby
incognito
bullshit.
Google window so that your own biases don't show up in your own search results. If that's for everyone. Yeah. If you actually want to research something, use an incognito window to go search it. So because we all live in a bubble, the internet knows your preferences, and it will show you unique results to you unless you say, I'm not me. I'm a nobody looking up this information with no preconceived notions of it.
I was always a little bit of an encyclopedia freak as a kid. Before Google, we had to go to the library and open up a physical
World
book.
Encyclopedia.
So I make it a good practice of, even if I see a tweet that I find really interesting from an educational standpoint and they don't have sources, I go and like research it.
Yeah.
And then, half the time they're right. They're just copy pasting something, but I just got to know. And I think that's just a really good practice, is it even, and not just on social media, especially on social media, you should do this. But when your parents tell you something, just go research
just
it.
Go look it up.
When Bob and Jenny down the street say something, just go look it up.
Bob's getting a rough go in this episode.
Sorry,
Bob didn't want to wear the fucking
Sorry,
mask.
Bob.
I'm just saying.
Do you hear that in the distance? The sound of carolers? The light twinkle of... I don't know, I'm Jewish, guys. The holiday season is right around the corner. We're getting in the spirit by indulging in the sights and the sounds and now the scents of the holiday season. So this Christmas, our armpits are gonna smell like candy canes. That's right, Native is here with a holiday scent. We love Native. It is a deodorant that doesn't just block odor better, it's made better. They have natural ingredients that you've heard of, like coconut oil and shea butter, plus it's vegan, never tested on animals, and yeah, now they have a candy cane deodorant. That is so fun. It's a very polite way to tell the person that you love in your life, hey, you could use some deodorant. The other day, Maggie said, what's that smell? Is Christmas in the air? And I said, no, girl, that's my armpits. Native is risk-free to try. Every product comes with free shipping in the US, plus free 30 days of returns and exchanges. So see why so many people love Native and check out over 14,000 5-star reviews. Give the gift of Native by going to nativedo.com/tryguys or use promo code tryguys at checkout to get 20% off your first order. Make sure you order before December 7th to get your products in time for Christmas. That's nativedeo.com/tryguys or use promo code tryguys.
Wait, we never got to the cats.
Quick cat story before advice.
Yeah.
We have a stray cat we've named Bart. He's orange and white. He actually looks exactly like Alfred, except with orange spots instead of black spots. So we've sort of thought of him as a doppelganger to our cat. So he's gotten more and more curious about our house. Becky's gone out to try to give him food and water to sort of befriend him. And it worked. He was like hanging out, and Alfred and this cat were face to face between the door panel, the glass door panel. They were looking at each other. They were curious. Alfred is always meowing in a way that sounds like he wants to be friends with him, because he's not running away. He's not hissing. He's like, meow, 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 hello, hello. I mean, he was in a house with 60 other cats at one point in his life. He considers cats to be his friends. This cat, at some point after all of this, just started hissing and batting at the glass at Alfred. And we're like, that's it. You're out of here, strange cat. You do not threaten our sweet, sweet boy through the glass. But he has come. Now Bart comes and sits outside our bedroom door, our glass door, in the middle of the night. And I'll just wake up to this cat staring at us sleep.
Oh my God.
It's kind of terrifying. Definitely gave me a nightmare once that he had brought 70 other cats and they snuck into our house, and then there were millions of cats in my house.
A little cat gang.
And they were all covered in fleas, and they were they were just danger cats. I had a lot of pepperoni pizza that night, which apparently leads to nightmares. So I attribute
really?
Yes, pepperoni gives you nightmares. Don't research it. Take my word as the word of God. Pepperoni gives you nightmares.
That cat story is kind of like a metaphor for the country right now.
Yeah.
It's like you just want the Alfred was like, hey man, I can teach you how to be like a good cat. And he's like, no.
Yeah, and that tabby's kind of red, isn't he?
He's definitely on the red.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
and as much as I want to help the cat, maybe the cat's just a goner.
Cat seems to be fine on his own. We think the cat actually lives across the street at a house, and he's just an outside cat, which I grew up with. I get it. But he did crawl out from under my patio last night and spook the shit out of me.
Oh, so he's just pretending he has struggles.
I don't know. Yeah.
And he's being perfectly fed.
He's totally fine.
And he just ends up staring at you through your window in the night.
And I'm like, when are you spending time at your house? Because you're always in my house. He's walking through our backyard every 2 hours. We have a Ring camera back there, and it shows us, and he's always walking through that yard.
You want to do one more laugh?
You hit it, brother.
You want to do one more laugh?
A quick laugh from Zach. Hit it.
Laugh alert.
Ooh, okay, so a little bit of follow-up from last week.
Oh, yeah.
So, Eugene, you had us do the one's gotta go. And last week it was, what? Food, sleep, sex, family. So I took the approach of saying family. By the way, comedy podcast, I'm just throwing it out there. I was just going, you know.
Oh, no, wait.
I was just fucking
Wait,
with
did
it.
Margot and Adam hear?
Well, so my parents did hear. They're not happy about it. But more than that, so my joke was like, well, Maggie and I aren't married yet, so I get to keep her, right? That was my loophole. But so anyway, yesterday was Maggie's birthday. Very challenging in its own right, you know, to celebrate.
I mean,
but I did my best to, like, we were not on social media most of the day. We knew that the results were going to be slow. I surprised her with delight and joy. Did my best to you know, honestly, it was harder for me. I'm just like, I need to be tapped in. So that was my gift to her, was I was going to be present in the moment and create an oasis of happiness in this constant hellscape.
Lovely.
So we did a socially distanced picnic. My grandmother is there. So Maggie begins the picnic by going, oh, guess what Zach did? We did a one's gotta go. And he was offered family, food, sleep, or sex. And he chose family. And he would get rid of family. And I'm like, Maggie, you are telling my grandmother and other family members, you're essentially looking my grandmother in the eye and saying, your grandson cares more about sex with me than he cares about you. And I'm like, that is not a conversation. And she, in front of her parents, in front of my grandma, she's saying that Zach cares more about sex than family. Didn't love it. Wasn't my favorite.
You know, I do say universally, the only one true answer for that is sex.
That's the one I chose.
Because you don't have to live with sex.
You don't actually need it to
You don't.
survive.
That was just targeted towards the people here, especially Ned, who creates many lives through sex.
But some people can't choose that option, or so the legend goes.
Yeah, you don't need sex.
That is true. Without sex, Ned wouldn't have been able to have a kid.
Yeah.
Also, we have too many people on this planet, so sex can go.
Sex
It
gotta
can
go.
Yeah,
It can
but
go.
Ned loves fucking.
I know he does love fucking. Ned loves fucking.
And you probably love
And he
things
fucks
in
with
your life.
purpose.
We gotta get to the advice and stop talking about Ned having sex before we all visualize it. We gotta get some advice that'll go for Miles with Miles Bonsignore.
By the way, Ned's having sex. That's why I can't be here this week.
he's not gonna like that.
Oh.
Hey, what's good? It's K-Addy, son. I'm repping all the stinky little cuties. It's advice that'll go for miles. Tune into your radio station.
This is excellent.
That'll go for miles.
Yeah.
Everyone get ready, Miles.
Okay.
Hey, it's advice that'll go for miles. It's advice that'll go for miles.
This is incredible. I asked for this.
For miles. Let's hear it from a Miles Nation.
All right.
Wow. Yes.
Big fucking shout out to none other than pulling it up right now.
Just healed the wounds
Pulling it
of
up.
this week. My God.
Thank you so much. That one comes to us live from @SavageFarquad on Twitter. SAVG and then Farquad as it's
As
usually
in
spelled.
Lord from Shrek.
As in Lord
Wow,
from
that's a good
Shrek.
handle.
Thank you so much for the excellent theme songs. I love them. Keep them coming in. Have y'all ever wanted to lay an egg? Talking about poop and food.
I'm sorry. What?
Have you ever wanted to be in an anime?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A little, depends.
Oh, breakfast is the meal for me. Breakfast is for you and we. Everybody knows you gotta put an egg on bread.
That's the advice.
Put a fried egg on some toast.
Wait.
And
Why
eat it up.
Why is pooping food You talked about pooping food.
That's how you get the egg.
And what about anime?
Well, sometimes they do egg on bread in anime, and it looks fucking dope. Castle in the Sky, Hayao Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli kind of shit. So I've been doing kind of a basic breakfast where I'll put a fried egg on a piece of bread. Toast it. I toast it.
You fucking better. You better, Miles.
Cold, lightly stale bread.
Yeah,
with
damn.
Get it fresh out of the fridge, crack an egg, eat.
Yeah, and I use a special little pan called a non-stick pan.
You should get a cast iron skillet. You own one.
Well,
right?
I have one, but you can't cook an egg on a cast iron skillet. It'll freak out. So
No, bro, you're wrong.
I disagree.
I cooked an egg at
Your
Keith's
Honor.
house on a cast
I
iron
cook
skillet.
eggs on cast iron skillet every single morning.
No, I know. I've done
Come
it.
over, I'll show you.
Don't get me wrong.
You don't know how to do it.
Honey, excuse me.
You clearly don't know how to do it.
Sweetie,
It is so easy.
don't talk to me till I've had my egg. I have done it on a cast iron skillet. I like doing it on the non-stick just because it's a little nicer, but the cast iron skillet makes it good too.
You just aren't good at it.
Ho ho ho! Shots fired. Hey, how about you both? How about you guys?
Hit us with the tripod.
Listen, guys, listen. I am known as a fried egg aficionado.
Yeah, you are.
I eat maybe like honestly 6 eggs a day. I eat so many eggs.
Wow.
Yeah,
A lot of eggs.
Koreans fucking love eggs. Food exists to put a fried egg underneath.
Damn right.
You both fry me up an egg next time.
Oh,
We can have an egg
I
off.
want you to bring your cast
Blind
iron
taste
skillet,
test.
which is a little harder
Blind
for you.
taste test.
Damn right.
And I'll tell you which fried egg is better.
That's good. Now, Keith, here's my question about
Can
your
we
egg.
do that as a podcast episode?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, egg off.
Yeah.
So, do you sunny side up or what?
What would you like?
Well, that's what I go. I go
Yeah, I
sunny
can
side,
do that.
sunny side
I
up.
can do it every way except I'm not very good at poached, but only because I don't make poached eggs. I could probably take a week and learn it, but
Poached
I can
egg
cook
is
it any way you
challenging.
like.
Poached egg is
Over hard,
challenging.
over easy, over medium.
Oh, I don't know why we have to
omelet.
wait till next week. You guys live 10 minutes away each?
Yeah, let's go make some eggs.
Yeah,
Leave-
Zach and I can shoot the
Leave
shit
the
while
pod
y'all-
running. We'll
Yeah,
fucking-
leave the last half of the podcast is
Yeah,
30
bring
minutes of just Will typing in the other
Yeah,
room.
just you guys going to take a bathroom break and talk
Yeah, I
about
do
other
have to
stuff.
pee.
Checking Twitter.
I just want to say that if there is an egg off, I would like to be included. you know?
Can we get more people in this egg off and make it a full video?
Oh, no, I
That's
don't want to
fine.
cook. I want to eat.
I
But
know.
what if you win?
You fucking win a dozen eggs.
You win it? The other person has to buy you the expensive eggs.
Oh wait, you're not
The
allergic.
$7.99
No,
for
I
a
can eat
dozen.
eggs.
The ones that I can't prove are any better than the cheap eggs, but
Yeah.
for some reason cost $8
Oh, but
per
they're
dozen.
speckled and beautiful.
They're speckled. You can buy speckled eggs for $4.99 if you know where to shop.
You got an egg guy.
I want to eat like a dozen eggs on this podcast just in a row.
How would you like your eggs?
I like them. I like them sunny side up.
That's right.
You got to
That's
make
the
the
right
yolk
way to do it.
runny.
I love
as
it.
fuck.
Do you cover or do you
Uh,
do straight uncovered?
I do sort of a variant.
You mean you
method
put a
where
lid?
Yeah, I cover.
I don't do that.
I go. I start normal, cover, and then after they've been cooking for a second, and then I uncover for the end.
I use the real trick, the easiest, start it as hot as fucking possible
Oh,
with enough oil, or if a nonstick, it doesn't matter. Then as soon as it hits the pan and starts sizzling, turn it all the way to low and cover it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then just check it periodically. It'll be done in like a minute.
That's
And
cool.
it's perfect and incredible.
I just fucking eat the egg, man. I am so not picky when it comes to my egg. Like I'll, somewhere between over easy and medium, just done.
I've been
Eat it.
having to do it without the lid because the lid's in a part of the house in a box I didn't unpack and I can't find it. So I've been doing it open, which is a little more challenging.
You're so brave.
Ends up being a little more over medium / over easy.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I need to stop you now. You think that a lid cooked egg is that much far superior than a
Yeah.
non-lid cooked egg?
yes.
Yeah.
What is different about
Steam
it?
the top.
It makes convection a more convection cooking method, which more evenly cooks the whole thing and gets you a better ratio of over easy runniness.
Yeah, and that way the white is cooked and the yolk is run.
Maybe I'm just not that.
Well,
I think
this is why we need a fucking egg
I
off.
guess so.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
wow.
see and
My biggest
we'll bring
biggest
Ned
pet
in
peeve.
too. I'm sure he thinks he can out egg us.
Ooh, my
And
biggest.
I get to be the judge.
You get to be the superior judge and you're the junior judge.
yeah, I'm the junior. I'm the judge that doesn't act. Just here for a good time. I'm the Randy Jackson.
Yeah, you're Randy Jackson.
I think we're gonna need a drone to shoot this because we need
this is the drone
egg
video.
off.
Because we can shoot it outside because I have the little grill thing that has a burner skillet. So we can do it outside and then we can get hot shots of the drone coming to the back.
I want you to wow me. I want to do a blind egg taste test where one is lid
Okay.
egg, and I want to be like, oh damn.
I mean, you could still fuck up a lidded egg.
Yeah.
It takes skill.
You're covering it in sauce.
If I'm
anyway.
going through the effort of
you're gonna
with
cover it in
my,
hot sauce,
my
regardless.
forearm is lifting it, I want it to be perfect. If I'm going through all that trouble,
I feel like I can do it perfect.
Yeah, not all eggs are fried equal. Like there's real fucking good. Like you get a good fried egg, you're like, wow, that egg's fucking perfect.
I'm really good at the wet scrambled eggs. Where they're like scrambled, but they're still somehow slightly runny.
Oh,
Now that
yeah,
they're
the
cooked
Gordon
all the way
Ramsay
through.
way.
All
That's
about it.
good.
I'm going to cut out all the politics stuff and just call this one egg.
10 cents of eggs.
The Try Guys egg. Okay, this is my biggest pet peeve. When you go to a diner back in the day when that was an option, and you ask for an egg that's over easy, or sunny side up, as some like to call it, and then you get an egg that is just fucking cooked through, and I'm not going to send it back. Okay, I'll eat the egg. I'm gonna eat the egg, but I'm not happy about it.
That's probably one of the few things I would actually complain about.
I've done it.
Because it's ruined.
Yeah.
I got a breakfast sandwich the other day with an over hard egg on it, and I was furious. Because I got home and opened it up and like, what can I do now? Call them and tell them they suck? I can't do. I'm powerless. I'm like, hello, excuse me, busy bagel place. You fucked up my egg, and you also didn't give me enough bacon, and also you didn't toast the bagel, even though the receipt says toasted. You fucked up hard this time, bitch. Maybe I'll come back. Bye.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
The one McDonald's hack that you can do if you're someone who doesn't care about, obviously the yolk's the best part and you want that shit runny. But sometimes what I do if I was on the go and couldn't necessarily do a yolky sandwich because I'm going to the Subway or something, you scramble and then make like a little thin omelet, fold it up, put that on the sandwich. So that way it's yellow. It's got a uniform sort of McMuffin style deal.
So here's even for the college kids out there, crack an egg, put it in a mug that has a little quick bit of Pam in it, stir it up with a fork, microwave it for about 30 seconds, done.
That's good.
And you put it right into a sandwich and it's perfect. I know it's not the most delicious way to make an egg, but if you're in college and you got some frozen Jimmy Dean breakfast patties, sandwich breakfast sausage patties, you put them on whatever fucking cheap ass bread you got, don't toast it, and you you should toast it. Make a sandwich.
Now I'm just thinking about like putting an egg in my soup, like when I was just like my canned soup dinner when I'm like, I'm too lazy to cook dinner. I'm gonna make some Campbell's Chunky, but oh shit, I'm gonna put a fucking egg in
when
there.
I learned you should
life.
drop an egg into your instant ramen at home, it was a game changer.
Oh, it's so good.
I
did not
why
know.
don't they tell you to do that?
I
It's
did
on the
not
bag.
know the non-Asians didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when I was
I don't
in
think I
college,
learned it till college,
I like cracked my egg in the ramen. And my friends were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I
Yeah, because
said,
first time you see that, you're like, "What? The egg
can't do that.
Yeah.
you can't do
that.
Yeah.
You can't do
You put
that.
it- you put-
Salmonella.
And you know, Korean style ramen is always spicy. So I grew up with the spicy ramen
Yeah.
too. So I put spices, stuff, vegetables. Everyone's like, "What the fuck you doing?" And I'm like, "Look, ramen can be good."
Ramen can be very
And that
good.
was pre-ramen restaurants popping up like crazy.
Yeah,
where
that
everyone's
was when
like,
I also
Maruchan.
I fully when someone first said you want to go get ramen for dinner from this restaurant, I'm like, why the fuck would I do that? Are you fucking nuts? It's 97 cents at the why would I ever go to a ramen restaurant? And then I learned that like,
Am I gonna go to the bologna sandwich restaurant next? Am I gonna go to the PB&J confectionery? Oh yeah.
Do I not know how to cook this myself on my stovetop since I was 5?
dude, Japanese style soft-boiled ramen egg.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
now that I
fucking
don't know how to
good.
do, but I would love to learn how to make
that
it good.
shit-
Can't win round 4 of the egg off if you.
Soft-boiled tea. Honestly,
the Miss
soft-boiled
Universe
tea
of
egg
eggs.
without a recipe is hilarious to me.
It's so good. So good. I can't eat that. It's like jelly, the center, and then the
Soft
outside has
boiled.
got the soy flavor.
And you know what I love? 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 When the egg is like a kind of a perfect ball, but then it has like the little dancer tail coming off of it in soup. You know what I'm talking?
Because it's running out and it's cooking.
And it looks like a beautiful silk dancer just flowing in your
Have
soup.
you seen the cure? We gotta send the podcast.
No, we don't.
This is the better part.
This is
We're
the
gonna
best I have
shorten.
felt
We're
all
gonna
week.
shorten the
People
political.
are like, I was so depressed by the first half.
Miles,
and
people
I
that-
can't believe it's not over.
We're
It's been 10
editing
minutes since they did.
We're gonna edit some of the political shit, and we're gonna put Miles' advice early in this
Then
podcast.
it's to be egg.
It's a topsy-turvy world.
Okay, so cured egg yolks. Have you seen this shit?
Oh, the
yeah.
salt cured egg.
Salt cured egg yolks, and then you grate them or
I don't
something.
think I have.
Yeah,
I've
never
it's
had
like
that.
crazy.
Is it
Wait,
good?
egg
I don't know.
flavoring.
Yeah.
Round
but it's
5.
like almost like cheese.
Wait,
Yeah, it's like
okay,
cheese.
I'm not picturing. There are too
put-
many voices.
All right, so you put egg.
Go to my mind palace. Okay, I'm
You put
picturing an egg.
Yeah, put
Uh-huh.
egg toast, and then in like a salt
Wait,
thing.
sorry, you went too fast.
All right.
Picture egg toast.
No,
No.
picture
No.
salt.
So okay,
A pile of it.
I can do
pile.
A lot of it.
I can do that.
Like a snowball's worth of
Yeah.
salt.
And then put an egg yolk in the salt,
Okay.
and then cover the
Cover
egg
it
yolk
up.
lightly, real carefully, with salt.
Oh my god.
And then in like I don't know. It's like
several days.
Several
I think.
days.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Several days later, brush away the salt and then take it out. It's going to be like a hard thing. Put it in your fridge for like another couple days.
So you're just leaving that shit on your counter.
Yeah.
What?
Salt.
Yeah,
Salt.
it becomes like a seasoning.
And it becomes like a grated thing, and you grate it on stuff, and
So
it
it
gives
looks
you
kinda
like a
cheese.
umami egg kind of thing.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
God, I feel like there's a whole Try Guys Learn About Eggs episode where we
that
go to
blew
a
my
master
mind.
egg chef and we all just learn
I don't know
cool
what's
egg
happening
cooking.
right now.
I know.
Y'all fuck with egg drop soup?
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
So
Fuck yeah.
I never did because I was afraid of it, and I
'cause
honestly
you had
haven't been
allergies.
exposed to a good one. So I would love someone to recommend a great egg drop soup for me somewhere
good
in
one.
LA because I hear it's delicious and I haven't had it.
Yeah, I haven't found a good one in LA.
I found several.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah, but it's not you either just it's like if you want top ramen, you're getting top ramen. If you want fast Chinese food, egg drop soup, you get that.
Yeah.
But if you go to like a Chinese restaurant and you get a really good egg drop soup, then the gelatinous like sort of broth mixed with the pure egg runny dancery.
Weird.
It's
Sort
a
of-
thick soup.
Yeah,
Some of
sometimes they
those
put
soups-
chicken.
I
Sometimes
don't
they
love
put
those hot and
eggs
sour
peas.
soups that are
Right.
like
I know you
Jello
don't.
soup.
I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
Jelly.
I'm all about it. I want my soup to grate through my teeth.
What's the name of the egg cartoon?
Oh, Gudetama.
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 Gudetamo.
Yeah.
It's with an A at the end, but I think it's I
Gudetama.
don't know if it's pronounced Gudetama or Gudetama. But he's got a little butt.
Either way, it's a Gudetama.
I got Gudetama underwear. It's so funny when I take it off and
That's
I'm like, hey.
Eugene, what's the favorite instant ramen brand from like a Korean market?
Oh, Shin Ramen, but that's the basic
Shin?
one. Yeah,
Shin Black or Shin Red? Because I know Shin Red is different here than in Korea.
I just get whatever's the standard package that's in red.
Right, in red.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Shin Red. Okay,
Yeah.
You know, I just remembered, it was either when we were in Australia or Singapore. I guess Singapore. No, I think it was in Australia. There's a Gudetama cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And which I was like, why is this here? And I almost went way out of my way to go see it. And then I'm like, maybe this isn't the most important cultural stop
Of Australia.
maybe this isn't worth the few.
Maybe.
But I regret it now because I don't know what it is.
Could have been fun.
It
You know,
could've
some
been
people
fun.
don't like eggs.
Who the fuck?
Uh,
Probably them Trump voters.
No, Trevor always love eggs.
some
We
people have
all
like an
love eggs.
aversion to too much. Like I can have limitless eggs. Matt has this thing where, especially hard-boiled eggs.
I
he
don't
doesn't-
care for them.
He doesn't like the smell. He doesn't like their presence.
I get that.
Yeah.
texture-
The yolk
slimy,
becomes
but-
real fucking chalky,
And
and
it
I
gets
don't
kinda
like
gray
that.
on the
Like
edges.
a good hard-boiled egg is 20 seconds away from a soft-boiled egg.
Go off,
It's
King.
so close
Oh,
because
yeah.
if you hard-boil, it kind of gets that like black ring. It's bad, but you gotta be subtle because like I
That's
love
level 3. And maybe that's the finale
Yeah.
of the egg off.
If there's one thing voters can come together, it's that
should-
we love
It
eggs.
should just be exactly like Great British Bake Off. And the first is bring your own egg dish. The second is an egg you've never cooked before. And the third is a challenging egg dish like a frittata. And you have to you get a practice or two, but you have to make your frittata in the moment.
Can I say, as I've grown up, I don't need an omelet.
Oh, see, I've
so smart.
I've been-
I don't need it.
well,
I don't want it. It
it's
used to be all I did. Now I'm like,
I
nah.
can make some hella fine omelets now, but I make like Greek omelets. So I use like feta and onion and like that kind of like flavor profile. And then I put some Keith's chicken sauce on it with some pickled red onions. And boy, howdy, that's nice.
I think omelets are kind of in the scrambled egg territory. The scrambled egg is more highlighting the egg, it was kind of the base and filler of other things, vehicles, especially college age. Like omelets were the shit. I was always just like, I'm going to go to Denny's drunk and get an omelet. But now I see egg in its purest form.
I want the pure.
Just
Yeah.
the fucking egg.
How like
Egg
when I
in
get
its
sushi, I just want
sunny
sashimi. I want that beautiful.
Yeah. Get rid of the rice. You just want the fish.
Egg sashimi.
I want that pure egg experience,
Yeah.
brother.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I look prerequisite. I can't have cheese. Can't have bell pepper.
That
Two of the
ruined- that
top
pretty much-
omelet.
Oh, that kind of
right?
fucks you up then, yeah.
But like as I'm older, I would rather have a beautiful, perfect, sexy fucking egg, and then just some sautéed vegetables on the side, and let my runny yolk runneth over the veggies.
I definitely do when I make a hash now. I'll throw in like broccoli or some vegetables into the hash. Makes it a little bit healthier. Also, once the egg hits all those veggies, it just
they're
tastes like a
delicious.
straight up delicious hash no matter what you do. No matter what you put in it.
Hash is good.
Listen, I respect your food opinions. You might have a different opinion than mine.
Very brave.
That's that's your perspective.
Right.
However, there are a few things that you are just objectively wrong.
Yeah.
One is how well done your steak is. Another is how runny your yolk is.
Yes.
And if you want your fucking egg blasted so that the inside is a rock.
Oh.
Some people get very vomity when they see runny yolk. Yep. I get it. You weren't raised right.
Grow up.
I will say it's amazing what runny egg does to a plate. How it like globs onto the plate and like refuses to let go. Is like, what's going on with you? Super protein.
One of my favorite but also trickiest experiences is when you get a breakfast sandwich with a real runny yolk and you're just like, it's dripping all over your fingers. And you're like, how do I escape? It's a terrible eating experience. Like, it's not
delicious,
good, but it's the best.
But I think some people, a lot of it comes down to a textural thing.
Yeah.
And some of that's visual for them too. So I think that, that's why I'm always so pro runny
If you
yolk.
can't drink your breakfast,
You know what I mean? Like, they just need to get over that I know, I get it. There's an aversion, I get it. But if you can just get past that, you can experience the joy of a runny yolk or
a medium
sexy,
rare steak.
a medium rare.
least.
Rarer than that.
It can
even.
get a little rare. At
Yeah,
times.
it can get a little.
It's got to be nice meat, and it's got to be one that's really tender. The problem
yeah.
is, I think some people have had tough rare steaks, and those are a miserable experience. They're just bubblegum steak.
I will say on poached eggs, and then we have to end because it's an hour.
No. We're cutting all the political stuff.
We're good. It's good. Keep going.
When I was unemployed, right before I started working here, Sarah and I were living together. I just moved in, and what we would do is we would wake up. We both didn't have jobs at the time, and we would just make a different type of egg every single day. So we would do fried eggs, boiled eggs, poached eggs.
He's coming in with experience to this egg.
I mean, look, I'll say I tried poached eggs so much. I still don't have it down.
Hard.
It's hard. But when you get a poached egg and you got it like on a little piece of toast or something and you just slice and it's gorgeous.
Shout out to Brian Wool. That man can poach an egg.
Oh, challenge.
I used to live with him, and he would make Benedicts for us, and they were like restaurant quality. They were incredible.
Poached
He's
eggs are
a
hard.
good egg cook.
I have a
Cooks
really
eggs
dumb
good.
question. This is a really dumb question. the etymology of the word poach, because poachers, they're bad.
Poaching is bad.
Yeah.
Poaching is
What
bad.
does that word mean?
You know what? I'm going to look up on the internet.
But make sure you go incognito. I don't want no poach propaganda.
So I know that the poaching process, it's like just not boiling water that's swirled constantly with a little bit of vinegar.
There's nothing to do with killing
And then
animals.
you drop the egg in gently to the spinning water. It floats and spins like it's in a whirlpool, and then you scoop it out at some point because you can't touch it because it's in boiling water.
That's all news to me.
Now,
That's
Keith, if I may, I hate to, toss this in there, but I've heard that vinegar, while it seems like it's good, it actually changes the texture of the egg. So it helps it set, but then it changes the texture to what you don't want. It makes it rubbery.
It's going to be a real turning point in the
I have. BU always did it. They were never rubbery for me.
Look, I'm just.
Maybe
I'm not. This is
he only
my
put in
opinion.
like a tablespoon.
This is not my opinion. The Food Lab is what I'm taking from one book. And hey, it could be a biased poach. It could be from the poached media.
Could be some sort of government-sponsored science.
You got to be careful where you're getting your poach information. There's a lot.
Anti-vinegar board.
It could be.
Big egg out here trying to just sway the people.
You don't need anything but the egg. Don't buy vinegar. Don't waste your money on vinegar. Buy the expensive eggs.
Big egg.
The poach means both to cook in a simmering liquid, like poached salmon
Or chicken.
eggs, or chicken, or to encroach upon, especially for the purpose of taking something.
Boy, oh boy, the English language is stupid, huh?
Well,
maybe it came from two different.
We just said, you know what?
languages?
We've made enough words. Now words get two meanings, and they can be totally different.
Can you believe that there are some people out there who buy cartons of just egg white?
That's
Bad.
so. What
a shitty person.
I'll leave it. I know we're ending our conversation here. When I thought I couldn't eat eggs, Becky would sometimes be like, well, why don't you just try egg whites? I'm like, because that's not what I ate eggs for. I didn't eat eggs for the whites. I eat
part of the
whites
experience.
as part of the experience.
It's part of
but
it.
It's all about that yolk. Nobody wants scrambled egg whites. I promise you.
Some people think
Some
they
people
do.
put them on a breakfast sandwich and disguise them and trick themselves into joy. You know?
I think was it like a cholesterol thing is why some people do it, but then people were like, well, actually, maybe that's not true because there's good cholesterol, there's good fat cholesterol. I don't know.
There was a whole. I mean, the food pyramid was flipped all over the place when we were.
Oh,
growing
remember
up.
that food pyramid they kept showing us in health class? Look at that
Eat
pyramid.
only bread.
So much bread.
Everyone eat a loaf of bread a day.
And that's, look, we're going to bring it full circle. Because, like, the basis of what we are taught about nutrition is bullshit and was decided by what we wanted to sell to people.
It was what was easiest and cheapest to grow that we could get a biggest profit off of, which was bread.
And you know, to bring it full circle,
Bring it fuller circle.
poach is a homonym. Two different word meanings for the same sounding word.
And spelled the same.
It's spelled the same. So it's like America. We're all the same on the inside. We might express things differently, but we are the same. Try to treat each other fairly. Unless you're fucking racist, then you can go fuck off.
I think that's fascinating. America is
kind
the
of
same word, but it means different things
to
to different people.
Yeah.
That's true. And it is homo.
Genus. Oh, genus.
But perhaps we can find the humanity in eggs.
I do think if a president ran on the platform of eggs are delicious, he would get all of those.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And his
More
name-
eggs for everyone. Free egg stimulus.
His
Everyone
name's-
will be sent 2,000 eggs a month.
And his name is Dumpty.
Yeah. Dumpty.
Dumpty.
You get a chicken, and you get a chicken.
Vote
Everyone
Dumpty.
gets eggs.
I have thought, now that I have a yard, maybe I should raise chickens.
Oh.
But there's coyotes in LA and cats in my backyard, so I don't think they'll last very long.
Put
Just
'em
gotta make sure they're
inside.
in a nice coop.
Good idea. I'll keep them inside.
You got a little guest.
my
you got a little
God.
guest house.
Yeah, but
You could put him in the ADU.
that's true.
You have wondered what to do with
You have a
that
garage. You're not
space.
putting your car in
Yeah.
there.
The garage is probably the best place for them
Yeah.
because the floor is just concrete.
You know,
It's gonna stink.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna stink.
but eggs.
That's true. Free eggs.
Free
a
eggs.
friend of mine got a chicken coop in their backyard, and they're always just plucking fresh eggs right out of those chicken booties.
Yeah.
So
Right out of them. Don't even wait for them to fall.
Right.
Tailgate
Booty
debate
to mouth,
episode that
butt to
aired, we
mouth.
brought up a lot of conversation about how to have chickens lay eggs, and a lot of people were dropping straight facts in the comments. So if you want to know more about eggs, go to my tailgate debate episode and just scroll to you can pause the video, scroll down to the bottom of the comments, and just read about eggs.
And let me actually say in general, the best place to find information about the world, YouTube comment section.
Oh, my gosh.
Really good stuff in there.
Double down on that.
You're going to love what you learn.
Yeah.
And maybe me, and I won't go further.
well,
There's a point where that joke no longer becomes funny, and I almost crossed that line.
eggs.
yeah, eggs.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs.
All right.
You know what? You might be listening and be like, wow, they're still going. And this was not for you. This was for us.
We needed a little egg wash.
Yes.
Egg watch.
little egg
Yes.
wash.
Yes,
Egg
yes,
wash.
yes.
An egg wash.
Yeah, an egg wash.
Okay,
You
yeah.
washed over with the eggs and make everything look a little prettier than it was.
Which is another great use for an egg. You can wash your...
You can wash your crusts, golden them up. You can
It's true. French toast.
French toast. We didn't even talk
Oh,
about
fuck it.
the
And
dessert
listen.
use of eggs.
Yeah.
Gelato.
Oh, my God.
Can I bring it like full circle?
Yeah.
Once more.
Yeah.
With a pun?
Yeah.
Much like eggs, I love a good runny yolk. I don't hate the whites. I just wish they would contribute a little bit more to the overall experience so everyone can benefit.
There's also the good whites and then the really shitty whites that just go just beyond the good
No,
whites.
I'm
and they
in
just
full
get
support
burnt.
of the good whites.
Yeah, the good whites are strong. They stick close to the yolk. They support the yolk. And then there's the whites that just sort of go on their own adventure and they end up getting burnt and useless.
Those
and
fucking useless
Becky
cum
fucking
trails.
cuts those whites straight out of her breakfast.
Nah.
And here's the thing, you know, a beautiful egg experience, you need to let the yolk be the yolk. The whites can't try and overwhelm the yolk and scramble into some hard little homogenous bullshit. There's beauty in the difference.
But you know what's beautiful? When you do scramble the eggs, they
They're
take
still going.
on the yolk color, right?
Yeah.
When the whites are folded in
Learn
fully,
from the yolk.
Everything tastes better, everything looks better, and children will even eat it.
Even children. and can I bring it full circle?
Yeah.
An egg is almost a circle. And so is this beautiful planet that we live on. And we've only got, we may have a lot of eggs,
Oh my God.
but you only have one planet. And I don't want to crack the shell because then you get little shell bits in your eggs. And that's no good.
And the Earth goes around the sun in more of an oval than a circle anyway.
There you go.
Eggs are more of an oval than a circle.
There it is.
More of an
Perfect.
ellipses.
And
So global warming
is real.
will destroy all the eggs that we love.
I will. What about think of the eggs? Vote for the. You gotta vote for the future of our breakfasts. If the mountain's catching fire and the hurricanes don't bother you, think of the eggs. We'll lose them. Chickens are an evolution of some other fucking weird ass birds, and eventually they'll die too. And you want quail eggs? They're good, but they're rare. They cost more. They're smaller. We could start eating ostrich eggs, I suppose.
Chickens were
egg.
Chickens were dinosaurs, and dinosaurs used to rule this planet. And if we don't get our act together, well, then maybe someday we'll be in coops pooping out eggs for our overlords.
And I, Humpty Dumpty, will represent you from the quail eggs to the ostrich eggs to the chicken eggs. We will all be here together under one giant egg.
Yeah!
Support the yolks. Support the yolks. The whites, please. Support the yolks.
Oh my God, Biden was right there. He kept saying, "All right, folks, this is it." If he had just said, "Okay, yolks."
All right,
Yolks. Should we end this?
Okay, yolks. Yolks at home. And he dead, like really just straight eye fucks the camera. He's like, yolks at home. My yolks.
Then he flashes that smile.
Yeah.
Any updates?
No.
We're still living in purgatory hell? All right.
Legalize
cool.
yoke.
Legalize yoke. Congrats to Oregon, who decriminalized all drugs. That was pretty cool.
That was
of them.
fucking
they
dope.
They can do psychedelic mushrooms now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
And medical
psilocybin.
mushrooms. So you can, I think medical mushrooms, and then they decriminalize like small possession.
Wow,
Hard
cool.
drugs.
Incredible.
That's fucking
And New
great.
Jersey, Arizona, Nevada, I think all legalized
Yeah, some of the
marijuana
places
was already in Nevada, but
Yeah.
New Jersey and Arizona for sure. There's some good stuff, guys. We're working on it.
And Oregon, you know what they did? They take the money they get from their marijuana taxes and they put it into rehab centers for people with real drug addictions. That's how you put tax dollars back in the community.
Fuck yeah.
They're leading by example up there. Great job to them. They also, I had eggs there once. They were delicious. They got some good diners up in Portland.
So y'all, when all seems lost,
Wrap this shit up. Wrap it up.
think about eggs. Think about eggs. Yolks.
And you don't
about
have to
eggs.
just choose one egg for the rest of your life. You can have ranked choice egg votes. You know, the top, your
wish.
favorite egg is the sunny side up, but maybe you also like scrambled. Maybe you but there's just below. You know,
Egg votes for all the egg yolks.
Well, I think I'm gonna have some eggs for lunch.
I had eggs.
Oh,
Dude, you know what I just realized? I have leftover soup at home, and the soup has egg in it.
Oh shit!
That's how
Becky
you
overcooked
make
our
it,
eggs this
but you have to
morning.
put
They
it.
were still good.
You have to put the yolk really slowly into the broth so it doesn't like totally congeal. It's a whole process. It's
tough.
very fun.
It's tough.
Well, guys, look.
It's been excellent.
Oh wow, that was good. This has been another excellent episode. Be sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss out on this hot egg action. We're gonna have the guys bring in their pans next time if we don't forget. We often promise that we're gonna do something and then we forget.
Forget.
But
true.
subscribe.
But that's on Miles.
Yeah, that's not Miles.
He's the producer.
That's definitely on mine.
Well,
What a tonal shift this was.
Yeah.
it feels good.
Yeah.
Feel good.
I feel better.
It feels a lot like.
And that's how you feel after a nice portion of egg.
This episode's we called Election.
Wow, the election
the
episode.
election.
Post-election.
The Try Guys election thoughts, parentheses, and egg.
You were listening to this podcast like, when are they going to get to the eggs? And now you're like, why won't they stop talking about eggs?
Keith, hit us with the official egg theme song.
If you like eggs, you like eggs. Put them in your breakfast, put them on your legs. There used to actually be a song for eggs. Remember that song? I do. It went, I love eggs from my head down to my legs. I love eggs. Paid for by the Egg Administration of America.